Parshat Nasso contains the Nazir, the Nazirite. And this is a person who took an oath to abstain from certain activities, including drinking wine or eating, consuming anything made out of grape products, from coming into contact with a dead body, and from cutting their hair for 30 days or more. And the Talmud tells us that there was a common saying that people would say to the Nazirite. They would say, go away from the vineyard, walk around the vineyard, do not come close, O Nazirite. What does this mean? Well, because a Nazirite was forbidden to consume any type of grape products or wine, why should they put themselves into temptation? Why should they even come close to a vineyard? And therefore, if somebody saw a Nazirite coming close to a vineyard, they would say to them, go away, go around the vineyard, avoid it, don't even walk through it, don't put yourself into temptation. In Pirkei Avot, in the 6th chapter, there is a famous teaching of 48 prerequisites, qualities that are required for studying Torah. And one of these is Oseh Siyag Ledevarav. A person must know how to make a fence for their words or for their actions, their deeds. What does that mean? What does it mean to make a fence? And in fact, we see at the beginning of Pirkei Avot, one of the things that the men of the Great Assembly taught is that you have to make a fence around the Torah. What is the meaning of that? If something is precious, you protect it. You put it in a box. You cover it with some type of protective fabric so that people shouldn't damage it. And if something is dangerous, you don't come close to it. You distance yourself from it. So, for example, there's a cliff, a sheer drop. Well, you don't walk right to the edge of the cliff, but you stand a few meters back, or you put a fence there to prevent people from coming too close and falling off the precipice. And so it is when it comes to Torah laws. For example, Shabbat. Shabbat starts at sunset. But we don't allow people to do work right until sunset, because if we did, there's always the possibility that they would actually go into Shabbat. And therefore we tell them to bring Shabbat forward a number of time. 40 minutes in Israel, 18 minutes in other places, so that you don't come to break Shabbat. You make a fence around the Torah. There are many, many mitzvot, or prohibitions, transgressions, where the sages, so to speak, added on to the Torah. Now, this doesn't mean they were making new prohibitions, but they were worried that people would break the actual prohibition. So they said, you know what, distance yourself. The Torah says that you're not allowed to cook milk and meat together, and once it's been cooked together, you cannot eat it or get benefit from it. So the sages said, so don't even put it together when it's cold. Distance yourself from the prohibition. If you've eaten meat, wait a certain amount of time until you have milk. And this is what a person should do in their private life also. If you see that there's something that you struggle with, something that is a temptation, well, don't even come close to it. You have a problem because you overeat, you have too much nash, too many sweets and cold drinks, don't even bring it into your house. Why put yourself into the temptation? This is what we learn from the case of the Nazir. Oseh siyag ledevarav. You must make a fence to your words, to your actions, to your deeds, to protect yourself from doing something inappropriate. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.